Hi guys, Steve Good here with the Scroll Saw Workshop. Put together a little video slideshow here tonight to show you a review of the product you're seeing on the screen right now. A couple weeks ago, David from Bigfoot Products sent me a review sample of his new DCS, which is the dust control system. And I've taken it out in the shop tonight and put it through its paces, and I just want to show you what it'll do. Before we get started, I'm going to jump over here to David's website, and it's www.bigfootproducts.ca. David's up in Canada, and he's developed quite a few accessories over the years for scroll sawers out there, and I think you'll find this one interesting. Tonight we're going to look at the ultimate DeWalt scroll saw dust collection system. Also, he has the standard DeWalt dust collection system. He has also the click and lock, which keeps the arm in the up position. Also has the 3D scrolling clamp that we've reviewed before. Also have reviewed the super sander, which is the see-through sanding disc, and the lever lift, which is the less expensive alternative to the click and lock. So that's some of the products David has, but tonight we're going to get into the new product that he just came out with called the DCS. What I did was I went out in the shop, and without installing the DCS, I took a few pictures after I cleaned up my one of my DeWalts, and this is right underneath the table, and you can see, although it's a little dirty, there's not a lot of dust, standing dust on the saw. Here is the taking a picture down towards the stand and the floor, and to give you a before and after shot. This is the before, and here's the table of the DeWalt that I'm getting ready to do the sample on. So you can see I kind of cleaned everything up, didn't get it spotless, but blew and vacuumed off the saw well enough we could get an idea of what was going on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1-inch thick piece of cherry, and I'm going to start scrolling in that cherry for 5 minutes non-stop. So I've got my little timer here set up, and I'm going to hit start, and we'll start making the cuts, and we'll see what it looks like after that. So here I've reached my 5 minutes, you can see from the timer, and here is the top of the scroll saw after the 5 minutes of cutting through the cherry. You can see I just cut some random lines. Here is right underneath the table, and you can see we have a pretty good pile of dust here and back here on the nozzle, or on the handle, and up here on the lower arm we had quite a bit of dust. And down on the table, which would eventually migrate to your floor, we had that amount of dust there. So what I did is I went ahead and installed the DCS, and this thing is really easy to install. That's one of the things I like the best about it, is it's simply this box that you slide back in right underneath the lower arm. It goes in, there's a tab on the back of it that goes into a slot that's already in the saw. Then you take this rubber band and just wrap it down around the tilt knob, and it stays pretty firmly in place. Then you attach your vacuum cleaner hose up to the nozzle that comes out of the DCS, and you're all ready to go. Now, here's one place that you'll have to maybe work with a little bit. The nozzle that comes out of the DCS is, I think, 1.5 inches, or I didn't measure it, so I'm not sure. But anyway, a standard size vacuum cleaner hose doesn't fit it like a shop vac. But I do have a little attaché vacuum cleaner, and I went ahead and hooked that up, and the hose was just the right size for it. You may have to, if you're using a standard shop vac, or if you're using dust collection, you're going to have to come up with some kind of adapter for this piece here to get your vacuum cleaner hooked up to it. So here we are. We've got the DCS all installed and ready to go. And again, it takes like 10 seconds to install this thing. Very easy to take in and out. Here is the table after another 5 minutes of scrolling with the DCS installed. Now, when you look at this, you might be a little disappointed because we've got all this sawdust here on top of the table, but there's really a few different things you have to worry about when you're dealing with dust. One is, of course, the health aspects of not breathing the dust, and even with a dust collector hooked up to a scroll saw, you should wear your dust mask, because there's going to be fine particles of dust that exit out of these saws up into the air regardless. So what we're looking for in a dust collector, for the most part, is to keep the area around the scroll saw clean. Now, a lot of people have to scroll in their kitchen or in a second room. They may not have a workshop, so controlling this dust that gets onto the floor is pretty important. So the DCS really does not take a lot of the extra dust off the top of the table, but now let's take a look and see what it does underneath the table. Here is with after 5 minutes of scrolling, you can see we have just a very few specks of dust that made it underneath the table. And on the next slide here, you'll see this is the stand looking down towards the floor. And you can see we probably collected 95% of the dust that would have gotten down onto the floor. So here we are back up on the top of the table. I still have the vacuum cleaner running, and all I have to do to get rid of this dust here is to take a small brush and just dust it over into the hole. Just takes a couple seconds, and after I did that, there's the top of the table clean. Of course, we have the floor and underneath the table clean. So I would say the DCS collected probably 90 to 95% of the dust, which is pretty impressive, really, for such an inexpensive product and something so easy to install. Very simple to install. Again, that's its main point in my book. So here I removed the DCS from the saw and put it up on top, and you can see this is the saw that's still there, the dust that's still remaining in the box. That's one thing that it may not have a real high efficiency of actually taking the dust into the vacuum cleaner, just simply because there's a lot of open area here. It's not a sealed box. It's just there's no way to do that. So I would say 50% or more of the dust went into the vacuum cleaner. I did not pull the bag out of the vacuum cleaner to check that, but just judging from what I saw the first time around, I'd say we got about 50% of it into the bag. Again, this thing is so easy to take out that after you've spent a day scrolling, just to pull this thing back out and dump it over into the trash or vacuum it out is a very simple matter. So that's a pretty impressive feat, I think. And again, here we are back to what the DCS looks like. Let's go back over to David's page and take a look at what he's got here. The DCS, which you get the box and the attachment that goes to your vacuum cleaner. Of course, you don't get the vacuum cleaner or the hose. It's just the box and the attachment is $34.95. I would say if I had to rate this product, let me back up a little bit. I'm not a big fan of dust collection on the scroll saw for a few reasons. One is I've never seen one that's very effective, and two, I don't like the noise that well. This one kind of eliminates one of my flaws in that I think this is a pretty effective dust collector for what it is and how simple it is to install. So the only probably negative I have at this point is the fact that I still have to listen to the noise. Now, if I'm going to do a quick cut, maybe I'm only going to be there 15 or 20 minutes, that doesn't bother me too bad. But if I was going to cut all day or half a day, having that attaché vacuum cleaner running that whole time would drive me crazy. The good thing about this is even without the vacuum running, the box still collects quite a bit of the dust that's going to fall down onto the floor. So again, if you're working inside your house, it would be probably worth it to have it there even without the dust collector turned on. I didn't experiment with that, but I still think a lot of that dust would fall into that box. On the pictures on David's website, you can see he has a video that shows you how to install it. He also shows it installed. There's a little slot that the tab on the back of the DCS goes into. You just slide it in there and you're done. So he also has a download here for how to make your own adapter for the hose if you don't have the right size. So that is the DCS from Bigfoot Products. Again, it's www.bigfootproducts.ca, and you'll be able to find this product there. Again, I think I give this product a good 7 out of 10, which is pretty good. I'm Steve Good. I hope you liked this review, and we'll see you next time here at the Scroll Saw Workshop.